Hey everybody, and welcome to the I don't know how many replay cast on my channel. I don't know the last time I did a solo replay cast. I I think it was the last time I was out of town or out of country, I guess you could say, for like 2 weeks or so. Anyways, in case you didn't see the video, which I hopefully have uploaded, um, I'm basically out of town or out of the country for 2 weeks. I will have some pre-recorded stuff, obviously, but most of those will probably not be live gameplay, but rather I replay casts or me going over my own replay from the tournament. Now, for now, the first 3 videos should be replay casts of the match of Sarto versus General Boulanger in the Nerfed DLC tournament. I got told those were some pretty good games, so yeah. I think I said it. I should be able to respond to comments in the video, in the comment section, etc., etc. Yeah, I obviously can't check any in-game stuff or something because I don't have a laptop, or at least I don't have one with me. So yeah. Anyways, let's jump into this game. Sarto on the blue side versus General Boulanger on the red side. I'm pretty sure Sarto is playing Eurocore, probably Eurocore mech. I'm not sure. Looks like mech to me. Yeah, that's pretty sure this is a mech deck. Mario 2s are an elite. This is a mech deck, Eurocore mechanized. And General Boulanger, unspec Eurocore by the looks of it. I don't think I've seen this replay before, so I don't know what happens. So let's check this out. Fast forward to deployment. We have for Sarto. Heavy force on Bravo, but it seems like he's still mostly pushing on the right side of the bottom plateau, bottom side. Golf Foxtrot area, if I had to guess. Although he could drive down this road into Bravo, because this is probably faster, but also less secure than driving down this road into Bravo, down through Alpha. But for sure, if you want to push Bravo, you should not push from one side only, because it makes you even more vulnerable to bombers and shit than you normally would be already. Also, no second CV, which is not surprising considering he uses a fob. And I'm also pretty sure he has the M270 LRM in his deck. On the right side, we have, as we know, General Boulanger, who is heavily going into Foxtrot, well, at least with a Leclerc, but not a lot of infantry to support this. He has a good amount of stuff here in Bravo, which he probably expected to push from. And honestly, this is in my opinion, a decent opening strategy, similar to the ones I had versus Greyhound in the second match of the second best of 5, where I played Scandinavia on this map, where I think the best strategy against the mech deck, where you can expect a Bravo push, is to go sort of 50% left, 50% right, where you have enough stuff to at least defend and sort of hold this part of Bravo, but also have enough points to push out of Foxtrot and also potentially get Golf in the long run without having to invest too much more. Although I'm not sure what units he has in his deck, but I think a 2F5 would have been enough. Then again, it's just 30 points more for Leclerc, and Leclerc just shits in every single tank that Sarto can field. Tiger Heart is a interesting starting unit. I can kind of understand why, because as a mech deck, Sarto doesn't have access to Crotals. So the maximum range versus helicopters is 2,800 meters, but the Hot 2 only has 2,625, and that's I don't think that's a good idea. So maybe he's thinking that, considering he can't really beat mech with his own ground units very effectively in Bravo, maybe he can do so with a Tiger, which is a very, very powerful unit. Don't get me wrong. Also no second CV from him, and he also has a fob. Starting with the Peace Rhine. Not sure if that's best idea. I don't think he spotted anything beforehand, so yeah, he just shot at the VLRA, which also missed. Sarto not able to unload them before getting destroyed, so that's a Commander's Para dead. Ooh, Gepard misses. Peace Run also misses the Gepard, which is unfortunate. Killing the Gepard would have allowed him to completely demolish this whole push. On the other hand, the Gepard having no stabilizer had to stop, meaning that it's significantly far behind the main force here. So honestly, it's kind of a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation for Sartor here. Stopping and waiting for his Gepard allows General Boulanger to get his units into a better position down there, but not stopping means that he could potentially get fucked by the Tiger. Because the Gepard has to come behind, and it's not even coming up. But the Tiger is not very aggressive though. Each 90 shooting, oh, not even hitting the AMX 13s and just getting wrecked. Although the rocket spots will stun a lot of units here. You don't want to be bunched up here. ATGMs probably won't do much because he keeps losing and getting line of sight, but the rocket pods did a good job of doing moral damage here. Mirage coming in against the KWS. Miss Micro here definitely shouldn't have turned. At this point, you already committed to it, you might as well completely engage the ASF, and he would have had a decent chance of killing it considering the first missile hit, getting it down to 5 HP, so the second one hitting, or a magic plus gun could have finished off the KWS. That was quite some Miss Micro. Gepard finally moving up. Leopard 2 here could do a lot of work because all these units are panicked, and the 2A1 also worried has a lower rate of fire than Leopard 2. Panzergrand's getting caught out by the VDAA in the open. VDAA not really the best spec unit. I mean, you can really see that here. It's been firing for so long, nearly out of ammo by now, when it only killed 4 units. A Gepard would have easily killed like one of the squads by now, or at least getting it down to 2 or 3 HP. VDAA kills half a squad before 6 men before getting caught out. The Gepard kills a Gazelle. Tiger got out alive, which is very important, especially with a FOB. You want to preserve those expensive helicopters as much as possible. Nation 90 pushing up here. If they get caught out by the AMX 10Ps, that could be very, very expensive for him. That's his only infantry he has. And Leclerc has not been doing much right now. Now should be the time. Oh no, he can't spot them. Push up with the Leclerc, but he can't spot the Milan, so he still has to push it up though to keep the MX-10. Completely overwhelmed on this side though. Leopard 2 is... oh, nearly got a shot on the 2A1, and the Chasseur 85 nearly managed to pick off the 2A1 as well. Mara 2 is have the possibility to get the Leopard 2 from behind. Leclerc just standing still here, allowing the MX-10B to completely demolish those Legion 90. And the Web T-20s are just way too late at engaging and helping out. 2 mortars for Sarto. He really likes spamming mortars. Well, not spamming, but using them offensively as well and extensively. But yeah, that's very annoying for General Boulanger. You never want to have a super heavy without infantry support. Never. Infantry is crucial for super heavies. Both at dealing with and using it defensively. This is... okay. He did pay attention and immediately pulled it back, but he might still get hit. Yeah, he still got hit, and 26 AP versus 21 armor, 3 hits, and a Leclerc is dead. Mara 2 is just wrecking those Chasseur with the help of those Commandos Para. The 2A1 gets killed though just before the Chasseur die, which is very, very unlucky considering they were panicked. But on the other hand, Sarto might have just gotten a bit greedy. You could have just waited considering they were stunned and panicked anyways. Leopard 1-4 just on the flank picking off these VAP T20s, which have only 1 armor, which means that the 1A5 only needs 1 shot to kill those. Perfect for just doing that and killing light IFVs and the shit like that. 40 points is very cheap, good gun, good accuracy, medium optics, just perfect for these kind of jobs. You just don't want it to fight against other tanks or infantry that has actual AP. But yeah, right now it's looking very good for Sarto. He has very good presence in here, although he definitely, in my opinion, you shouldn't really try to push Charlie. Even not even getting into the edge of this forest. Even being in this forest is probably overextending, in my opinion. Unless you're like already ticking +3 or +4, just trying to buy some time. But in the long run, this is not worth it. Because he can very safely reinforce this, whereas reinforcing over this, for one, it takes longer. and 2, you're very vulnerable from this side, and potentially even this town with ATGMs in there. So pushing this is not a very good idea. You want to have your units in here so that the opponent has to cross open field, and if you're in a defensive position and the opponent has to cross open field, that's a much easier position to defend. But if he has a town here and basically cover to move up his units, up very close to his spawn, this is not very good. At maximum I'd just put some reservists in there, but these Pentagrams on elite and Pentagram 90s on top of that are just way too valuable. Also, I hope I don't speak too fast, because sometimes I just tend to do that when casting. So sorry in advance for that, but I can't see your feedback just yet. Yeah, let's go on. Honestly, I think at this point I'd spend like 20% of my points at max for the left side, resupply all these units, get maybe another 2A1, get a bit of flank defense here, and then try to push Foxtrot. Because what most likely is going to happen is that General will use most of his points trying to get back in here, which means that you can pretty much safely try to push here, because you, in general, it's either that he's gonna spend his points to stop your push here, in which case you will just keep this on without any issue, or he will spend his points here and you can just push Foxtrot a lot easier. Just simple math, really. Also nice positioning with those Puma Pirates. He has 3 cards of Recon Infantry in his deck. Commandos Para in the VLRA, Commandos Para in the Pirate, and Hussars in... Actually, does he have only... No, he has Hussars in the VLRA, but I'm pretty sure he has 2 cards of Commandos Para in the Pirate, if I'm not wrong. Maybe he has only 1 card. Maybe I'm wrong. He does use... even 2 cards is arguably a lot nowadays. He does use them pretty effectively though, to be fair. Tigerhead getting 2 Marauder 2s, which is honestly not a bad thing. Peace Rod picks up the Gepard, which is this is very dangerous. I think the Gepards, the Tigers, and potentially Panthers, those are gonna be your biggest issue as Eurocom mech. This is where the Gepard A1 with Stabilizer would probably be a lot more useful, or something like Manpads, because they're not they can't be sniped by Gepards, and you can put them pretty far up, and most of the time when they're firing they won't get spotted. They're just perfect against helicopters and helicopter quote-unquote spam. If you remember it's been quite a while though, my Eurocore motorized games versus Putin 187 when he was playing Soviets, the Manpads, my Mistrals, they did a shit ton of work. But yeah, this is what I mean. He had his Pentagrams up here. They didn't really do much because these Commandos Para were in the building, allowing them to get line of sight, and the Tiger and Web were just opening on fire without really getting much. And it should also be said that Sarto has no vehicle support right now. Pushing here, and generally also forcing him to use micro and points on other sides is a very good idea, but having just an okay, there we go. Tiger is dead. That's very important for him. The MX-3090 could also do a lot of work here though. He needs more vehicle support, I think. Gepard A2. Also some Rolands would probably be better. In general, I think Rolands coupled with Manpads would be a better idea. The Manpads are just better against the helicopters, and the Rolands being further back also won't be spotted, so they can't get sniped. Yeah, he gets his force, which is very good. H90 pushing in here. These Panzergrunts should be pulled back. These Panzergrunts are so valuable and also rather expensive, and especially on elite, it's definitely worth just getting them back and repairing them. That's at least pull back the squad that has only 1 HP left. General pushing here again, but without the MX-10P support, it shouldn't be too hard to get back into this town, especially with the Million 3 having only 1 missile left to deal with the clear. Motors coming in again, doing some nice job at stunning those Commander Marines. Service sent basically no chance, but they're gonna buy the Panzergrunts some time, because as long as the Panzergrunts can 2 versus 1 all of these squads, they're gonna kill all of them. But if these 3 squads would engage the Pentagrams at the same time, the Pentagrams would most likely lose. Not like this Midas though, because the Panther here is just gonna fuck them up. But yeah, I still think that pushing further in here is the wrong idea. Holding this town is one thing, but pushing further into here, not a good idea. As you can see, it's not really working off. And having only the reservists here or something would buy him some time for his vehicles to arrive. And holding this force is a lot better because he can pull back and let the enemy fall in a lot further. Only 4 being bought here just to defend this. Surprised to see General not pushing up his other squad. He must have seen that he killed this squad of Chasseur, or at least got it down to 1 HP. Not the best idea. Well, that's not what I mean. What I mean is some unused potential here. EM3 very strong here, but Commandos by mean that they will get spotted. Although a second shot. Nice pullback by Sarto here. The Milan 3 most likely would have stayed spotted for a bit longer, meaning the Leopard 2 could potentially get a second shot off and killing them. But pulling them out meant that the houses acted as cover, line of sight cover, versus the Commando's para, meaning that most likely the Milan 3 would get a second shot of the Leopard 2 before it could fire back. But yeah, exactly. Fire support just easily deals with those Chasseur and the AMX MPs. Another Tiger, way too aggressive though, gets killed, but the Peace Run manages to kill that Gabbard here and gets out alive. Very unfortunate. KWS again, and again no vehicle support whatsoever. Although the Milan 3 here definitely paying off. Lars 2 not very effective. Finally, Chasseur being pushed up here. General has basically no area on the field other than a Croton. He mostly relies on the KWSs. And how much? Sarto bought a Rafale. I can see why. He wants to challenge the Peace Rhine, but at the same time he doesn't want to buy an ASF that kills the Peace Rhine and then gets killed by the KWS. So he wants to basically have a counter for both. At the same time, he really doesn't have manpads in his deck, does he? I still think Rolands and manpads just would work a lot better here. And he's still holding on to this forest, which is not a good idea. You can't challenge Charlie very effectively unless you completely demolish your opponent on basically all on the whole map. Another Leopard 2, and there's nothing to challenge it basically. Panzergrunts need to land side shots to actually deal damage. Also no flank secure here. He has this aim extend, that aim extend P and the Chasseur here, but not the best. He now has a Gazelle cannon, so I guess that's good enough. But yeah, these Panzergrunts, they're not in a very good position. They need the fire support. Even if you're a mech tech and you have very good infantry, you still want fire support to reduce the damage to reduce the damage to your infantry by killing your opponent's infantry and other units even faster. But the problem is that General can use his infantry and fire support, whereas Sarto has infantry only, and that in the long run that just doesn't work very well. Especially since he has to rebuy his AA as well all the time and spend more points here. KWS very unlucky and getting killed here, wow. Lars 2 firing, it's surprisingly effective. I was about to say it's not very effective being fired from spawn. You definitely want to use it at minimum range. Actually surprised it managed to panic those Panzergrunts. And the Leopard. Total will easily finish off that pirate. Nice smoke micro here. Commandos pirate will have no chance. again, he shouldn't push up these pentagrams over the at the edge of the forest, because then the Leopard 2 and other vehicles can, in theory, in practice obviously not right now as you can see, but in theory you shoot from this edge of the forest into here without getting challenged. And whereas if he pushes his infantry further back and forces him to get into the forest, then he can attack with his pentagrams, but they are still deep enough in the forest that the fire support over here cannot shoot back, meaning that the fire support also has to move up here into this forest, which means that they could get side shot from here, or flanked from there, or just the infantry just demolishes it as soon as it enters the anti-tank range. I mean, this kind of works out for Sarto, but yeah, okay, now he pulls them back again. No, he's not. No, what are you doing? Even panicked still. A single leopard, and the Leopard 2 can just easily walking through the fire as well. Either he forgot them, or I don't know. It's not a good move in my opinion. And now the 2 squads get engaged by 3 squads. They managed to kill 1 Legion squad, but it wasn't really worth it. Meanwhile, on this side, Leclerc moves CVs in here. Not a huge fan of the MX-30. I much prefer the Leopard 1. The MX-30 does have the autocannon, which is nice if helicopters fly over it, but the 1 top armor means that even light mortars or 5HE mortars can kill that surprisingly quickly. It's gonna be a bit tough if the CV is not spotted or you don't know where it is, but if you know where it is, 3-4 salvos and it's most likely gonna be dead. 1A4 tried to sideshot it, but not gonna work out. The Milan 3, Milan 3 nearly fucked it up, and now here, yeah, the squads were able to get into this forest without getting challenged by these smarter ones, and the last 2 meant the pentagrams were panicked. These run kills, I'm pretty sure it's a Leopard 2. Yes, it is. It's not looking good for Sarto though. He lost this. He should have spent more points in this early on. I'll get to that a bit later though. And now he can't really reinforce it effectively because he has General has a town and he can just move his Leclerc around as he wants to. Especially with his decent smoke, his good smoke micro that he has. So now we're in a reverse position. General can push here and either get it, or Sarto either push here, force Sarto to use the points here and not make a lot of progress. But at the same time, General can also just push further in the Gulf, potentially threaten Hotel. Or Sarto spends his points here and then he gets pushed back in Bravo. It's just not a good position Sarto is in here. Oh, there's a KWS, a Rafale, and a Peace Ryan. Peace Ryan, not sure for what, probably just potentially snipe a unit. All these planes got evac'd. I think it got damaged once, but not killed. Yeah. Honestly, I think that's probably game over. Resupplying his mortars. LRM not being bought at all. Yeah, now he lost Bravo. MX-13 up here, stopping him from reinforcing. Had to use his Peace Run for that. The Clear actually did a lot of work, even leveled up, so to say. Stunning his own Legion 90. Yeah, not looking good at all. Leclerc gets finally killed, but I mean, he still needs a lot of points to get back in the Gulf in the first place, especially with those Milan 3 in there. Puma Pirate will most likely kill those Iltis, or this Iltis. Killed by the Peace Run? Yep, it does. But I mean, this is game over. So, what you probably can imagine thinking about yourself is, in my opinion, what Sarto should have done is just hold on to Bravo. Hold on to this, maybe get the squad in here, but don't freak out if you lose it. But don't really bother with this. Maybe buy a couple for service, just to have some units there that you know when General is gonna be in here. You know, they just stand still here. If they're not getting engaged, you know this is clear and there's nothing coming. And if they're getting attacked, you know that there is something coming and you roughly know what is coming. And then can potentially react to that. That at least buys you some time to potentially buy another Leopard 2A1 or something for Bravo. And just holding this and having vehicles at the edges, especially here and stuff, maybe smoking, just keeping this smoked off. You have a fob, you have lots of supply, and just having some vehicles that can shoot into the side, and have your infantry at the edge, your vehicles right behind that potentially attack, move up and back. If he tries to cross the open field, even buy an LRM as soon as he wants to push, but this is now way too late. And invest some more points in the Gulf, you know? Maybe get an ATGM squad in here, be annoying here, make it an annoyance to push up, get the commandos power here so you can potentially get a side shot with a peace run by flying around, etc. And not just buy medium 3 Chasseur 85 at the start and then not bother with it again up until the point where you actually lose Gulf. Getting in here was very nice. Maybe you also should have spent more points there, but you can't spend points everywhere all the time. But maybe once you got this, reinforcing this also makes pushing into the Gulf town not impossible, but harder. Get an HGM squad in there. Get a Leopard 2A1 in here or in here that basically stops both pushing from Charlie into Bravo as well as from Charlie into Gulf. Obviously easier said than done. There could be ATGM squads in there, but you could always smoke it off. And this is relatively deep that you can just go behind this bush to get into cover. Basically it all revolves around not being so aggressive into Charlie. Pushing Charlie is practically never a good idea, and when it works out, 90% of the time you have already won the game anyways. That's basically all I'm trying to say here. If there was no town here, if this was open field, or if this was a complete forest without a street going through it, it would be a completely different story, but that's just not how it is. That's pretty much all that I have to say here. Let's just roll this over and that's about it. Yeah, it's just KD is not even that well. It is pretty one-sided, but not as bad as I thought. But yeah, I said what I wanted to say, so I hope you guys still enjoyed the video. I hope you learned maybe something. I didn't really, I didn't really go over different openers, but I suppose by the time, if you know my videos, you probably already know the types of openers in Battlefield where you can go work and push. And yeah, the next match I don't know which map it is. Maybe I think one of the maps was held in a very small place and the other one plunging, but maybe I think plunging and held in a very small place. I'm not 100% certain. In any case, I hope I didn't speak too fast. I hope you understood me. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope I'll see you in the next one.